Hey everyone, it's Stacey Santiago, and I'm here today with Sylvia. And she's got just an amazing and I think very heartwarming story to share with you today about her journey through this. And one of the things that I find people underestimate, and Sylvia can probably tell you this too, is when you come into this work, you don't realize the depth of the inner transformation in you emotionally in terms of confidence and how you feel about yourself. It's so powerfully transformative. It is in no way just about, hey, let's find my next job and what I want to do. It's like, it's just like 100 miles wider and deeper than that. Is that right, Sylvia?
Absolutely. Yes. I
Good.
I was not expecting that. And
Mm-hmm.
I was immensely pleased and surprised and just elated that was really where what was the momentum of the whole program was that internal
Yeah.
transformation.
Yeah, and it's you don't get to see that so much on the outside until you're in it. So that's one of the reasons I love sharing these stories with you, because you get to see real people and what they've been through, and that's what's here for you too. All right, so on that note, we will jump in here with Sylvia. And so tell us, Sylvia, before you started coaching, I mean, what was going on for you in your life and your career? Describe some of
Mhm.
those challenges.
Sure. I was really at pretty much a breaking point. And it's funny because I was doing the work that I know how to do expertly. I've been working in New York City as an executive assistant most of my life. And I started out of necessity, and I got expert at it. And I've worked at some of the most well-known organizations. I've worked with some of the top level executives. I was rocking and rolling. I was doing it. And I got, but at the same time, there was always something within me that just felt like I was missing out on something. And that feeling kept getting stronger and stronger to the point where it was like I I knew how to do the work. I had great skills. I had great interpersonal skills, organizational skills, technical skills, yet I was just bombing out at work. I had no motivation. I just felt completely dead. And I was going into work and trying to do my job. It got to the point where I couldn't even do my job anymore. I just felt like there was just this block in front of me. And even though I knew what I needed to do, it wasn't anything that was neurosurgery. I knew how to do my job, but the resistance that I had to doing it was just slowing me down to the point where I was no longer effective. And that's just on a professional level. Emotionally, I have to say I was getting to the point where I was losing hope. I didn't know what I was going to do to move forward. I didn't see any avenues because I felt like I didn't have, I'm not a young person, so I didn't have an education or a skill set where I could have a lot of different options to advancement. This seemed to be my only avenue, and I was feeling like I can't do this anymore. And I was just kind of getting desperate, sad, and even my interpersonal life, I was just feeling um, like I wasn't measuring up with everybody else. I didn't feel confident to socialize even with people that I saw to be thriving, people that I would want to be spending time with. I didn't feel like I had much to offer. And so I kind of was isolating myself as well. And, health wise, just kind of maintaining, but not really thriving. It's funny because I always used to do a lot of physical activity when I wanted to boost my morale. And I've done that over the years. But this last year, even that had fallen off to the side. And I saw my fitness level starting to go down. and I couldn't, keep a good nutrition plan in place. So I really was kind of falling apart. Everything was just kind of falling apart, and I didn't know what, you know, I didn't know how to get it together.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that. And that was clearly costing you in every area of your life. It was costing you in your health, in relationships, surely missing out on the connection and being proud and happy to share about your work and your life. It was costing you just enjoyment of every day, being able to have hobbies and fun. It's costing you so much. And underneath that for you, what were those emotions that were really tearing at you? Was it more anxiety and depression? Was it more guilt and shame? What was it that was the biggest one for you?
I think a big one was self-doubt, low self-esteem, low self-worth, and exasperation, just frustration and just feeling stuck, just like exasperation. And like, what is wrong with me? Why I have all of the pieces. I can function. I know I can do everything that everybody else can do. There's nothing that anybody's doing that is beyond me to do. But yet I just can't do it. So it was this horrible feeling of just being weighed down and stuck, and and I suppose depressed. I mean, I'm not I don't know if that's the correct diagnosis, but I was, yeah, I was just spending a lot of time sitting at home watching TV, avoiding everything because I just didn't know how to cope anymore.
Mm. Hmm.
Yeah.
What was it for you? I mean, what was that break point? How did you know that you just couldn't sustain that any longer?
I mean, first of all, it was, I lost my job. I had a very good job. It was pretty easy. It was a great, cushy executive assistant job at a national organization, a very well-known organization. I was the executive assistant to the CFO. I had wonderful people all around me, and I couldn't do my job for no reason that I could fathom. I just didn't have the motivation, and I got fired. And so I I was kind of, what am I going to do now? And then I started interviewing. I started applying to other positions, and I easily got the interviews because my resume, it was indicative of a very high performing person. And I would get on the interviews and just blow the interviews because, I mean, I would be doing Zoom interviews like this, and I could see myself in the little, in the little icon on the top, and I could see my own body language, and I just looked bored. I looked not even bored. I looked completely checked out, and I knew what the right answers were to the questions, and I could see the interviewer just kind of almost rolling their eyes, like, when is this interview going to be over? And I got to the point where I wasn't going to be able to function as, support myself or function in life. And I just, it was, it was one of those things where I almost got a message from the universe when I saw, the career breakthrough um, ad pop up. It was in my Facebook feed, and just something, about it, and just said, do this, and that's, if there's one thing that I can say that has sustained me throughout a lot, has been my spiritual connection. And at that point, I guess I was that broken down, that I had nowhere else to turn, that I had to grasp at that. It was a leap of faith. And I had to do that for myself. And, it was no big deal to just listen to the presentation. So I said, okay, I can do that. And then once I listened to the presentation, then there was, why don't you email Stacy and get to talk to her? And I said, okay, there's no harm in doing that. And with every step, I felt my spirit opening up. I felt like hope. I felt like the fog just clearing up a little bit, and hope coming in. And then there was a part of me thinking, okay, am I just making this up? Am I just imagining this? Is this wishful thinking? But it was a strong need that I had, and it just felt like it was coming to me. It was coming to me.
Well, that's very interesting too, is like you were saying, you went back to what you know how to do, which is what everyone says. Oh, just update your resume and start applying to other jobs. You'll find something. But that's not solving the problem. That's just a band-aid. That's just more confusion and pain and missing the mark. And it's like, okay, so how much more do you want to suffer until you actually go deeper than that, which is so much of what you needed.
Yeah.
And so
sure.
tell me then, as you are taking this journey with us here, doing this work, what did you discover? What did you discover along the way, and what kinds of things did you start realizing, hey, I want to take action on this?
You mean once we started the program? Or yeah. Two major things. One was, by doing the work of the program, I got a full picture of myself, of my strengths and of my talents, and what I have to offer, what I not have to offer, what I have always been offering in the world. I got this picture of myself that amazed me. I never put the pieces of the puzzle together that way. I was always just, I guess, doing what needed to be done in the immediate need, meeting the immediate needs. And I never stopped to look back and see myself. And this program, that work, putting that blueprint of myself together, amazed me. And I worked really hard at that. And it was it was a labor of love. So getting to see myself, I remember the coaching call where we were talking about it, and I couldn't believe it. I said, wait, this is me? I've been that person, I am that person. I haven't been seeing it. And I've just been doubting myself and thinking that I'm less than and not able to reach farther. It just, something changed, and my whole image of myself, my whole view of myself just completely expanded and just burst open. So that was immeasurable, because now I could do all those things that I want to do, that I never took steps to make happen in my life, because I just felt stuck. And the second huge thing for me was where I gathered information and feedback from people all around my life. This was huge for me. And the responses that I got from everybody, and tallied them and meticulously organized them, again, the way people saw me, they saw me as somebody that inspires. They saw me as somebody that brings people together. They saw me as somebody capable. They saw me as somebody who has strength, compassion, kindness. I mean, all these wonderful, amazing traits that I thought nobody, and all along, I thought nobody was appreciating me, that I was just this person that everybody just came to and dumped everything that they needed to get done and just treated me like I was some kind of servant. That's how I was seeing myself. And then to see how people were actually and seeing me and put it all together. I mean, it was right there in black and white. It was irrefutable. That was another thing that just gave me it just lifted me up to another level from being down in a dungeon where I saw myself to being up there on the higher levels of thriving right along with everybody else and collaborating and interacting with everyone and actually making a huge difference everywhere in every environment that I had been present.
Yeah, as I often tell people, and you're giving an illustration of what this is like, is that they've been looking through their world through, say, purple lenses for so long. And now in doing this work, you take them off and you look through yellow lenses. Now you see crystal clear and you have a superpower other people just don't. And
Yeah,
that's a great illustration of part of what that is. And so for you, a lot of practical pieces started coming together too, in being able to brainstorm possibilities you hadn't thought of before, or maybe you did, but you just let them, go in one ear and out the other through years in the past. And so
absolutely.
tell me about what outcomes did you get? I mean, what has become clear, and you would say, okay, this is what I wanted, and this is the outcome that I got.
Absolutely. First thing to say is that I have become much more powerful in my relationships with people and in my personal relationships and in relationships at large. I know who I am. I know I can see the other person for who they are being, and it's all okay. And however that person's being, however I'm being, nobody's stepping on the other person. We can both collaborate and empower each other. So that is a tremendous motion forward for me from being isolated, because I always felt like I was being badgered. The other, I mean, the sky's the limit now. I mean, I went from being an executive assistant and then being in media and in office corporate environments to realizing my passion is in physical activity. Every time I needed to boost my morale, even in those days when everything else was going wrong, I did it through some form of physical activity. I did a triathlon. I was a couch potato, and then I just went and did I trained and did a triathlon. I went and did Taekwondo, and I got my black belt. I mean, that was always in the background, but it was just this side activity. So now I see that's my passion. And I explored the option of going into physical therapy while I was working through the program. And then I realized the best fit for me would be becoming an orthopedic nurse practitioner. That's what I'm aiming at right now. And this isn't something that I couldn't have thought of. Actually, I have thought of it. I've met so many nurses throughout my life and always used to think, oh, I wish I could be a nurse. I should have been a nurse. But it never occurred to me that I could go ahead and go do that. But now I just have my confidence, my energy streaming forward and blossoming and unfolding. And I will take those steps. I'm doing it. I'm, I have to go back and get an education. I have to figure out how I'm going to finance that, how I'm going to support myself in the meantime, take those steps. It's going to be a journey, absolutely. But it's a journey that I am elated to be taking because it's my journey. It's where I'm going to thrive. And it's not even that I have to say, oh, well, 3 years from now or 2 years from now, when I can finally get that first nursing job, then I'll be happy. No, I'm happy now because I'm taking the steps, and every little thing that I'm doing, every little bit of research I do, every little bit of figuring out how this funding is going to come to me and how I'm going to make it happen and how I'm going to get support from friends and family members, all of it. It's my life. And now all the pieces are coming together, where before everything was falling apart. Everything it's coming together very organically, and it's expanding. I don't know if I'm being a little bit metaphysical or vague, but that's, I mean, you can ask me if you want me to say something more specific, but that's how it feels.
Well, and that's exactly it, right? Because you came into this saying, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I don't even, I just have no idea.
Right.
And you come out of this saying, I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I want to do. I've got a plan. And you can see it on your face, the transformation coming to life in that joy and that energy. And that's exactly what you get. And so for you, I'm wondering, Sylvia, why was this coaching worth the time and the investment for you?
Well, I thought about this because making that initial investment, that was a big deal for me. That wasn't something that I would have ever thought to do before. But actually just simply making the investment before I even started the program was a showed a huge belief in myself. It was, I deserve this. I'm going to do this for myself. And it just seemed that once I made that investment and I was in, my life changed already before I even did the first module of work. It was like I was stepping into my life. I deserved it. No more little crumbs here and there for Sylvia. No, the big, big picture. I deserve to step into a big future. So right there, amazing. The program itself was more comprehensive than I could have ever even imagined. And I've been around all kinds of initiatives in my career, all kinds of work, and I've never seen something that was so well thought out, so well planned out. Every week it was like unfolding, and the spiritual and moral support that we got along the way was key. It wasn't just a cut and dry career coaching. It wasn't just about logistics of how do you go after your dream job. It was about uncovering the layers of self-doubt, the layers of disempowering beliefs that I've been carrying around, to see little by little, and with support, with expert support from you, Stacey, and from the coaches from the team, and also getting together in those coaching sessions with the other participants was huge, because it wasn't just myself. I could watch as other people in the program were unfolding themselves and going through their own very, challenging personal unfolding, and watching them do it and listening to how they were doing it and seeing them making those changes in their lives. That just gave me all the more momentum to do it for myself and believe in myself, because we were all doing it together. So as far as the quality of the program, absolutely, it was absolutely worth it. And the work, the exercises that we did week by week, that humongous spreadsheet. I stayed up. I woke up early. I tried to figure out when was the best time to do this work. I mean, I dove into it. And, because in the beginning, I thought to myself, oh my God, I really made a huge investment. I have to make sure I get my money's worth out of
Yes.
this. Yeah. So I'm going to do this work. And then it was like, after the second week, I thought to myself, I've already got my money's worth. I can relax now and just do the program. And there was so much more to come.
Well, and I love this too, is that, you're a perfect example too of, people ask, well, how do I know this will work for me? You are the only variable. And you got such awesome results, such clarity, such power and transformation from this because you showed up. Just like you said, I figured out the best time. I got up early and I made sure I got my money's worth and I did all those activities. You did it. You're the only variable and you showed up and you got your outcome.
Exactly.
And while everything in between is challenging, that's the most simple part of it.
Exactly.
Show up. If you show up, you'll get the outcome.
Right. And that was kind of, I made the analogy where I've always been very successful at doing work for others in my jobs, being able to facilitate all kinds of projects and getting them done and having very successful results. But in my own personal life, I never did that for myself. I always was doing it for somebody else. So this was my chance to do it for myself. And I think because of the financial investment, it made me do it. It wasn't like I couldn't have done it before, but this was like, okay, I'm paying this into myself.
Yeah.
And I can't ignore it. And then it was absolutely an expertly put together, comprehensive, and the spiritual side of the program as well was tremendous. I was so aligned with that. It was, it was very necessary to do the work of expanding my mindset.
Yeah.
In order to encompass more success and more possibilities and more options into my life. It was all about me and my own mindset. So it was awesome.
And I love this quote because it's so true, is the inside of the jar can't read the outside of the label. We think, oh, we got this. I'm going to go read what color is my parachute and fix my resume. And I got this. You can't see. You're trapped in the jar. You have no idea what's on the outside of that label. Exactly. And doing this work, you come out of that jar and you're like, whoa, yeah. It's just that huge. And so to wrap us up then, Sylvia, what advice do you have for people who are watching who may be struggling in the same type of situation that you are in?
I would say it is immeasurably valuable to have this external, just like you just said, the external support. The program will not fail you. It will not fail you. The program has everything in it. It works. As long as you do the work. So believe in yourself. You deserve it. If this resonates with you, if you feel like it's opening up, if it's shining a light for you, follow it. Just keep following that glimmer of hope, and it's wonderful as you do the work, and the hope keeps getting bigger and bigger until you just believe in yourself and you believe in your success, and it comes to you.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Sylvia, for sharing.
It's my pleasure.
Your journey with us. This helps people cross that line from settling and staying in fear to actually going for their dream and living that life fully on purpose without regrets. And I just love that you're willing to share that with us here. And it's so, so helpful. So very grateful for you sharing your story. And
I'm honored.
Thank you so much. And everyone who's watching, if you've already spoken with me or have your call booked, cool, you're all set, or one of my members of my team. But if not, and you're seeing this for the first time and you want to have that call, you want to at least explore why are you struggling? Let's pinpoint that. Let's figure out exactly why you're stuck and what you actually need. Let's figure that out first and go from there. And to do that, you can go to stacysantiago.com/call. That's stacysantiago.com/call. So you can do that and you can reach out and you can find us. And we also have our Facebook group too, Building the Career You Really Want. So you can check us out there too. So thank you so much, Sylvia. And we'll be
Thank you.
talking again very soon, I'm sure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.